Good day, lords and ladies, and welcome back to Scarlet Hollow, episode 4 with me, Cornish-knight. In the last episode, we had the intro, the recap of what happened in the previous episodes, and we started our day. We are now currently looking for Stella with Avery and Kanika, and we've looked around her house, and we cannot find her. She doesn't seem to have had a struggle. She seems to have left of her own volition, has made a sandwich. It's probably that she's just gone off somewhere. But we still have not been able to find her. We are also starting to suffer the effects of our decision from the last episode, or the last chapter, I should say, as you can see in the corners of the screen. So let us dive in. Where to next? Police. We could talk to Oscar. The diner, the mines, the church. I think we should do the police next. Jason turns to the pair. We should go to the cops, right? Are you sure? Says Avery. I think against the officers of Scarlet Hollow, but you've met them, right? Do you think it's worth the trouble? As unhelpful as they are, mutters Kanika, we are dealing with a missing person. That's cop stuff. It's probably going to be a bit more of a formality than anything, but there's no point in not covering our bases. All our bases. Police station is exactly what you expect from a town the size of Scarlet Hollow. It smells strongly of coffee and faintly of aged furniture and paper, and the general tidiness speaks of a department that doesn't get much of anything done. But you're also not alone here. As you enter, you find Bo and Duke standing between you and the officers behind the desk. Now listen here, Hugby. Big Betty was set to win a blue ribbon, so don't you go telling me she was just a pumpkin, says Duke. We worked really hard to get her that big, raised her from a seed. It's just not fair, officer, sir. I understand that, says Seraph Hugby. But I just don't see what you all want us to do about it. I know you all cared a lot about this pumpkin, but as it stands, it simply isn't a job the police can help you with, says Deputy Dirksen. Not if you were able to find some evidence that Julius or somebody else stole this Big Betty of yours, then you could get a lawyer involved and take it to a small claims court. Dang it, Deputy, snaps Duke. Ain't finding evidence what you all supposed to be good at for? That Julius has been stealing what's rightfully belongs to the Callaways for all his life, and you folks ain't done a lick of policing to put an end to it. I told you we were all better off handling this ourselves, Daddy, mutters Bo. Whoa there, now that doesn't add up. You're Miss Scarlet's cousin, right? You ain't supposed to be old, says Seraph Hugby, as everyone looks at him. That Titleif ain't treating you right, he adds. A ghost turned me old. What are you talking about? I've always looked like this. Don't want to talk about it. I have a condition. I freed the library from a wrathful spirit at a great cost myself. Let's be honest. A ghost turned me old. A ghost turned me old, mutters Jason. Hugby, Duke, and Dirksen stare at you for a moment before breaking out in laughter. If you say so, says Deputy Dirksen. It's true, I was there. I can't believe I'm saying this, but a ghost stole years of Jason's life, says Kanika. And we got possessed. It was a wild night. Silence again as everyone in the room processes this new information. Looks like what happens when my wife takes her makeup off, chuckles Hugby. The Seraph laughs, slapping his knee, announcing to the room that he has told a great joke. Okay. Let's go with the pumpkin. What's all this about a pumpkin, says Jason. Seems that the Galloways here have lost a considerably large pumpkin, says the sheriff. We ain't lost crud, Earl, says Duke. We can't lose what's been stolen, says Bo. And we already know who did it. We saw Julius eyeing her yesterday. Look, Bo, sighs Dirksen. I feel you, I really do, but that's circumstantial at best. And even if it wasn't, you know yourself that this isn't a clear property line. Let's go with that one. I'm sorry, did you just say crud, Duke? Dang straight I did. I ain't about to cuss in front of the boy. Cussing in public ain't polite, says his son. You got a problem with that? What makes you think... Yeah, let's go that one. What makes you think Julius stole it? You're poking a wasp nest, Jason, mutters Kanika. That's 100 years of history there. He's been claiming Big Betty was his since day one, says Bo, on account of he thinks it was plot. Sorry. He's been claiming Big Betty was his since day one, on account of he thinks it was planted on his side of the property. He's got himself confused about where the property line is, adds Duke. Always has. The Galloways and Tremaines have been at this a long time, says the sheriff. They can never agree on whose land is whose. This ain't the first time we've heard something like this. We get our fair share of calls from Julius too. You know, says Avery, Julius is a friend of mine. He's a lot of things, and he's definitely a bit of a curmudgeon, but I've never pegged him as a thief. Friend? A snake like him has friends, says Duke. Friend is a strong word, adds Avery, but I like to think we have some kind of understanding. Let's go with this. Where was this pumpkin valuable, says Jason. She was a darn near £200, says Duke. She was going to get us a blue ribbon. And now we've already missed our chance. The judging was supposed to start today, and here we are, still stuck in the hollow, and sought our prize winner, with Julius Tremaine to blame. He particularly spits the name, and then literally spits on the floor. He ain't even coming to his door to answer for what he's done, just holed up like the coward he is. At the very least, he could give us seeds from what's left of her, so we could try again next year. She was good stock, our Betty. That's interesting, mutters Avery, because I haven't seen Julius since Tuesday. He's usually in the diner every day. Not necessarily a big deal for a lot of people, but he never misses his morning Joe. So maybe he isn't a thief. Could be something happened to him. Mark my words, mutters Duke. The man's a thief. You got any other idea about who would have stolen our prize pumpkin? Beats me, says Avery. I just don't think folks would be so quick to jump to conclusions. You know, even if Julius didn't take Big Betty, it might be worth doing a welfare check. All right, mutters Deputy Dirksen as he wades back into the conversation. Let me speak in plainer terms. Everyone knows that Julius Tremaine's land is booby-trapped to hell. It's not worth it. Is that so? Says Duke. So you've just been giving me and my boy a run around all morning. I don't have to answer that question, says the deputy. Helpful, mutters Kanika. So he's got some traps on his property, counters Avery. Never stopped me from visiting. Yeah? Do you have kids? Says the deputy. Because I've got 2 teenage girls at home. Hugby got grandkids. Franklin got the mare, I guess. I'm not about to risk getting my head blown off over a pumpkin. That's right, says the sheriff. There's some sleeping dogs you learn to just let lie. I've been Scarlet Hollow sheriff for over 20 years now. You don't hold a position like that for so long without learning a few lessons on temperance and moderation. What's good a sheriff who won't do his job? This is lawlessness, counters Duke. If I may, sirs, ain't that a mite bit cowardly of you? I thought police officers were supposed to be brave. Not the ones that live very long, son, says Deputy Dirksen. Look, I've been to Julius' house 100 times. I can tag along and make sure no one gets hurt, says Avery. That's a mighty kind offer, but let's give it another day. There's no need to escalate things when they might just resolve themselves, says the sheriff. Tomorrow, Earl, or I'm running against you next election, says Duke. Alright, here. Let's go with that one. Stella's run off last night, and she's still missing. She isn't at home, and none of us have heard from her, says Jason. She's what now, says the deputy? Oh, that's just our Stella's. That's just our Stella. Always running off, says Sheriff Hugby. I wouldn't worry too much about it. She'll turn up. This is different, Earl, says Kanika. You know I wouldn't be up here bothering you if it wasn't important. Yeah, for one thing, someone threatened her last night. He's been trailing Jason since he got into town too, says Avery. Let's go with this one. She shouldn't be off on her own when there are so many ditchlings around, says Jason. I'm sure you've seen them by now. They're everywhere. Sure, says the deputy. We may have seen some strange animals lately, and we've certainly been getting a lot of calls about them. So either Scarlet Hollow is suffering from some kind of mass hallucination, or we've been invaded by whatever they are, admits the sheriff. What are you expecting us to do about it? Says Dirksen. Ain't you all supposed to shoot him or something? Says Bo. Now, son, we ain't animal control. We're the police, says Hugby. Are you kidding me? Says Kanika. This town doesn't even have an animal control department. Well, maybe we should get one, says Dirksen. You all are no use at all, you know that, says Duke. Them things have been after our chickens for at least a week now, says Bo. Open your eyes, boys. There are strange things afoot, says the farmer. Weird question. Yeah, I'm going to go with the weird question. Let's go with that one. Weird question, says Jason. But are you folks part of a cult, and is that why you ain't doing your jobs? The police officers stare at you perplexed. Sheriff Hugsby. A cult? I don't think we have that sort of thing up here. We are doing our job, says Dirksen. Just look at Franklin back there. He's filling out all kinds of paperwork pertaining to what happened up at the mines. You know, I can't say I appreciate your tone, says the sheriff. Sounds like you're accusing us of some kind of indecency. What? Do you think we'd go up into the hills and do seances and rituals and all that sort of thing? Get your head out of the clouds, says the deputy. Yeah. Let's go with that one. Let's just get going, says Jason. Well, no one can say we didn't try. Let's keep looking. Says Kanika. Avery, have a good day. Have a good one, officers. Same to you, kid, says the deputy. Avery, do you really think Hugby and Dixon could be part of some cult that secretly runs Scarlet Hollow? That'd be wild. I'd never suspect them of that sort of thing. Seems like it'd be too much work. As someone who lived in this town my entire life, there's no way. For one thing, cult activity like what you're describing just doesn't happen, says Kanika. I've done my fair share of reading on satanic panics and so-called occult groups, and it's almost always totally made up. People constantly freak out about Satanists without realizing they're just a bunch of there's a bunch of debate club nerds who listen to heavy metal. So, instead of not being able to rely on the cops, Countess Avery... So instead of not being able to rely on the cops because they're part of a cult that secretly runs the town, we can't rely on them because they're just not very good at what they do, he replies. That's so much less exciting, but either way, I guess it's up to us to solve the mystery of Scarlet Hollow. I'm going to be honest here, folks, I won't be surprised if it doesn't turn out that there is some kind of, cult going on in this game. It would not surprise me at all. We do a much better job anyway, Countess Kanika. Where to next? Just checking in on Oscar. He's smart. Maybe he'll know what to do. Right. Let's have a game plan. Let's go to Oscar's. Yeah, Oscar's probably sounds like the best place to go. We should check in on Oscar. He's smart. Maybe he'll know what to do. I hope nothing else happened after we all went home last night. Mutters Kanika. They're so brave for sleeping in that house after everything that we went through. I'd rather sleep in the woods with the ditchlings than some place that was that haunted. Your mum said it was safe, Countess Avery, and I'm inclined to believe her. Why would she lie? But how would she know that? Says Kanika. Magic, probably, points out Avery. But that's only one way to find out. Let's go. Morning light streams in through the library's large windows. In the bright daylight, the library is once again a place of comfort. All menace having fled in the wake of Charles Swords Jr.'s departure. No ghost, thank God, declares Kanika. I was not up for another encore. Avery, yeah, it's gone, just like your mum said it would be. I guess Oscar must be in the back, says Kanika. I know that's where I'd be if I finally got my house back. I've always been surprised at how unsupervised this place is, comments Avery. Sometimes it feels like anyone could just walk in and do whatever they wanted. Like what, steal a book? Inquires Kanika as he raises an eyebrow. I mean, they could, right? Says Avery. I'm not saying anyone would. I'm just saying that people in this town trust each other a lot. It's nice. Let's go find Oscar, says Kanika. You make your way back towards the annex. It feels strange to be back here in the light of day, as if the events of the previous evening were all just a terrible dream. This hallway really takes me back. It feels like it was only yesterday that we were last here, blissfully unaware of our entire lives were about to be changed forever, says Avery. It was only yesterday, points out Kanika. I know. Kanika knocks on the door. Oh, good morning. It's so good to see you all. Jason. He takes in the sight of you standing in the bright corridor. Keen eye. His expression changes subtly. His eyebrows curve upwards with a twinge of guilt upon seeing you at his door. I hope you're doing well this morning. Please, come in all of you, says Oscar. You have no idea how good it felt to sleep in our own house last night. For I suppose I didn't do too much sleeping. I mostly sat and stared at the hats all night, admits Oscar. Nothing happened, but the idea that something could happen was more than enough to keep me wide awake. So, what brings you here? He inquires. Stella's been missing since last night, admits Kanika, and we're trying to figure out if anyone's seen her. She hasn't gotten in touch with any of you, says Oscar. I'm starting to freak out. Let's see, which ones do we pick? Let's go with that. Yeah, Jason, I'm starting to freak out a little. I really care about her and she's just gone. It's okay, Jason, says Kanika. We're going to find her. That's not good, mutters Oscar. I haven't seen her since she ran off last night. God, I feel like this is all my fault. I should have done a better job warning her. Stella was practically banging down your door to try to get evidence of ghosts, interrupts Kanika. I don't think you were going to be able to stop her. There was no way you could have known how she would react when she found it. I don't even think she knew how to react, points out Avery. And besides, you didn't know how bad it was going to get. You can't blame yourself for everything, man. I know you probably feel like it's your responsibility to make sure everyone around you is okay, but sometimes that just is not going to be possible. You're only one guy. Now I'm really starting to worry, mutters Kanika. It sounds like no one in town has seen her. That doesn't mean something bad happened, points out Avery. But it doesn't exactly sound like it's all sunshine and roses for her either, counters Kanika. Sorry that I couldn't be more helpful. Can't be more helpful, especially after everything you all have done for us, admits Oscar, sheepishly. I know time is of the essence right now, but while you're here, I wanted to let you know that I am determined to do whatever I can to help investigate what's happening in our town. I was hoping we could compare notes. It might help me narrow down where I should start my research. As far as I'm aware, there was nothing paranormal in Scarlet Hollow before very recently. Now here we are, suddenly surrounded by weird little goblin creatures in the woods and plagued by angry ghosts. Kanika takes a moment. You think there was an inciting event, right? I do, mutters Oscar. That's my fault too, she admits. It was never like this in the Hollow before. Something must have happened that kicked off all this magical stuff. Avery stares at you, smiling. I mean, isn't it obvious, right? Things only started happening once Jason got here, he points out. Kanika shoots Avery a glare. No, we are not throwing Jason under the bus, she snarls. What? There's nothing wrong with being a magical catalyst, chuckles Avery. Sure, there's probably nothing wrong with someone being a magical catalyst, but there's definitely something wrong with saying someone's a magical catalyst, points out Kanika. If people get the wrong idea, we're only a couple of steps away from a whole town deciding to shore him. No one's going to drag Jason into a witch hunt on my watch. I like to think we've outgrown the days of running people out of town on rails, chuckles Oscar. Yeah, but you'd be surprised at how quickly mobs can form, even in today's society. I'd rather play it safe, counters the woman. Don't worry, says Avery. It's not like I'm going to go running around town telling everyone that Jason magicked a bunch of terrible disasters into existence. But if there's a catalyst for all of this, why wouldn't it be a lost Scarlet finally coming home to Scarlet Hollow? If I may, interrupts Oscar, Jason getting into town isn't the only major event that's happened lately. Paulina died over a week ago, and those creatures in the woods were probably reproducing by the time he got to town. Not to mention I started seeing things in our house before Paulina passed. Paulina passed. I think. So let's do that again, folks. Not to mention I started seeing things in our house before Paulina passed. I think. I never thought to make a note of exactly when the spirits made itself known. If there's a root cause for all of this, hopefully there's a way to put the genie back in the bottle, finishes and declares the man. I'm going to do my best to find out if there have been any similar events and wherever there's been anything special about Scarlet Hollow that might explain what's going on. We'll fill you in what little we know, says Kanika, so you'll have at least some place to start. Yeah, let's start with the obvious. Oh, we saw the ghost is really gone, says Jason. I have every reason to believe so. There wasn't so much of it as a creaking door or mysterious draft or night, counters Oscar. I'm certainly hoping this isn't wishful thinking given the toll it took on you to get rid of it. You're so brave for sleeping in here, admits Kanika. I would have left and set the place on fire behind me if I were in your shoes, no matter if someone wound up putting it to rest or not. I suppose I felt I'd done enough running, admits Oscar. I'd seen the worst it could do, and I was willing to risk it if it meant Rosalina wouldn't spend another night sleeping on a cot in the back room of a library. Let's go with that one. We've been finding these weird stone seals. There was one in the mines, another one in your basement. There might be more. These are those carvings you mentioned last night, right? Inquires Oscar. To think there is something like that under my house all this time, and to think someone might have put it there, but who? This gives me quite a few threads to follow. Thank you, Jason. Jason, didn't you say you felt something similar to the mine seal outside the clinic yesterday? Points out Kanika. I hope that doesn't mean something weird is about to happen there too. Losing the only doctor's office in town seems like it would be losing the only doctor's office in town seems like it would be bad, points out Avery uneasily. Here's hoping we sort things out before that becomes an issue, says Oscar. You know, I was thinking about filling in that basement with cement and pretending it was never part of this house. But if we're all here, maybe we should go down and... Oscar sighs. Take a closer look at that carving, seal, whatever it is. Oh, heck yeah, says Avery. It'll be like checking out the behind the scenes of a haunted house the morning after. I mean, I know you're joking, but that's literally what we're doing, right? Points out Kanika. Now that you mention it, yeah, I guess it wasn't that bad. It wasn't the best analog, says Avery. Sorry, analogy. Sorry, that's what it meant. The word is analogy. It's been bad enough going into a haunted house and abandoned coal mines at night, says Kanika, but there's something that feels so much worse about going down there in the middle of the day. I can't say I'm thrilled about the thought of it either, admits Oscar, but we need to do whatever we can to start getting ahead of things. I really don't think this is a good idea, says Kanika. Okay. Let's go with... what would Jason say at this point? Let's see. Going down there is worth the risk, admits Jason. We've been seeing ditchlings in broad daylight. I don't think we have the luxury of turning down clues. I couldn't agree more, says Oscar. After everything you've done to keep my family safe the past 2 days, I'm not going to risk losing our home because I was too scared of an old stone carving. Oscar, I feel like this is a bad idea, warns Kanika. Whatever, you don't want to put yourself in another potential life-threatening situation. What? Sorry. What, you don't want to put yourself in another potential life-threatening situation? Jokes Avery. Not if I can help it. I'm not really a hands-on kind of investigator. That's Stella's thing. You don't have to go down there with us, reassures Oscar. You can wait upstairs. Oscar leads you back down the familiar hallway to Rosalind's room. Oh hey Dad, what are you all doing in here, says Rosalina. I am going back into the basement, Rosa, says Oscar. I'm afraid there's something down there that might help us figure out what's going on in town. It's probably best you go to the library while we... No way, says Rosalina. If you're going down there, I'm going to. Remember what you said last night. No more secrets, we're in this together. You're right, Rosa, says Oscar. You can come with us, but no more secrets. Am I the only person in town who doesn't have a death wish? Sighs Kanika. Sylvie said that the ghost is gone. I really don't think there's anything to be afraid of down there anymore, counters Avery. Just give me a moment to move all this out of the way. Let's see. Let me help you with that. Just start lifting. Now let's go with let me help you with that. Yeah, there. Definitely powerful build. Let me help you with that. I couldn't ask you to. Before Oscar can finish, you jump in and move the heavy furniture out of the way. You never pass up the opportunity to display a feat of strength. You feel a bit of unusual discomfort in your joints as you work, but you put the pain out of your mind. Listening to pain would mean that what happened last night was real, and that it was better than you. Nothing is stronger than you. You can tell everyone is impressed by your large muscles and ability to lift heavy things. Kanika in particular eyes your shoulders with more than a passing fascination. I don't want to go back down there, stutters Alex. It's okay, Alex. You don't have to come with us. We can stay up here together while everyone else goes down there, says Kanika. Oscar opens the hatch with a menacing creak. Everybody's heart skips a beat, for Avery's might have skipped a beat out of excitement rather than fear. But none of you are swept up in the ghost's nightmarish puppet show. The sun continues to shine, the birds continue to sing outside of Rosalina's window. See? Nothing to be worried about, says Oscar. A slight tremor in his voice tells you he was mostly saying that to himself. Shall we? If you're sure you want to do this, I won't stop you, but I do not like the vibes I'm getting from that pit. The four of you descend into the hole. You descend the basement stairs and find yourself in the same cold, unfinished place you were in last night. You can't shake an oppressive feeling, but whatever that feeling is driven more by the trauma of the past night or by something more tangible, you're unsure. Well, I guess whatever we're looking for is in that pit. I guess we should take a look. Oscar walks up to the burial site, eyes widening as he peers inside. You look back into the pit. The eternal screaming remains of Charles Shaw Jr. are exactly where you left them last night, staring back up at you from empty sockets. The carving lies beneath him, the heavy cold stone acting as his coffin. Keen eye. Its style is more than just similar to the carvings in the mines. Both stones were carved by the same artist. Powerful build. It looks so heavy. Heavier than even you could lift. Charlie, mutters Oscar. Whoa, cool, mutters Rosalina. Dang, Charlie, Jason's grandma really did a number on you, mutters Avery. Nobody touch it, says Oscar. I'll have to call Dr. Kelly about this. We should put his body to rest, right? That's how things usually go. At least in the movies. And hey, we disturbed his body and he hasn't come back for a sequel. Confirmation that he's gone for good, right? Chuckles Avery. I think so. That's going to make it a lot easier to sleep tonight. Does that mean you'll let me sleep in my actual bed, says Rosalina. Whoa, let's give it one more night. I still don't know how I feel about you sleeping on top of that rock. What do you think? Wolves encircling a goat. It's a start. That was on the wolves encircling a goat. It's a start. What was on the carving in the mines? It was a bunch of arms all tied up in chains. Stella took a photo of it, but that's not helpful right now. But maybe once we find her, she can send it to you. Interesting. I'm sure that description will be more than enough to get us started, says Oscar. Can Alex and I help? I want to know why someone put this creepy stuff under my room. Sure, says Oscar. You can help. We should destroy this thing. Well, I've seen enough time to go. I mean, there's no point in destroying it because there's still one in the mine. I mean, I don't know even if we could destroy it. Let's go. Well, actually, probably Jason at this point is sick of the stone things popping up and causing mischief. Yeah, when he's had the flashbacks and everything is tied to these things. Let's go with that. Let's go. We should destroy this thing, says Jason. Are you sure about that? That carving is one of our best leads we have. Dad, that thing stole our house, says Rosalina. I suppose it did, and we do have a photo reference to work with. Okay, I'll give it a go. I'll do some research. Maybe we can use some sort of acid on it. You and the others make your way back up to Rosalina's room. As soon as you're all in one place, Oscar closes the trapdoor and moves the pile of furniture back in place. So, did you all get possessed or cursed or anything? Says Kanika. No, but we did see a dead body, says Avery. Close enough, mutters Kanika. Glad I stayed put. Alex, want to see a picture of it? Says Rosalina. Ew, okay. I'm not sure that's appropriate. Alex's parents might not approve of you showing their daughter pictures of dead people. They let her watch all kinds of scary movies, Dad, says Rosalina. It's fine, and maybe she can help with the investigation too. Yeah, it's totally okay, Mr. Gutierrez. I didn't want to see it in person, but I do want to see it. Before Oscar has a chance to get another word, Rosalina's already pulled out the picture on her phone. Whoa, I can't believe you're going to sleep in here. You're so brave. Oscar sighs. I'll be back to check on you two in a minute. I've just got a couple of things to finish up. Sorry, I'll be back to checking you in a minute. Sorry, I'll be back to check in on you in a minute. I've just got a couple of things to finish up with these folks. You, Kanika, and Avery follow Oscar back to the living room. So, I have more than enough to get started on my research now. But is there anything else I should know about? Yeah, let's go with that one. Make sure Pixel stays inside or he might get grabbed by ditchlings. The ditchlings are those things from the woods, right? With those faces? Yeah, the anguished doughboys, says Avery. I kind of like them. It's like a hidden object game out there today with all the weird little faces peering out of the bushes. Like them? Declares Kanika in horror. Are we talking about the same creatures that have been laying eggs in local wildlife? I didn't want to get friendly with them or anything, says Avery. I just think they're kind of interesting. To each their own, sighs Kanika. Will do, says Oscar. I can't imagine how devastated Rosalina would be if something were to happen to him, especially after everything she's been through. Let's go with this one. There's something in the clinic. There was a door yesterday, and I could feel something pulling me towards it. Right, mutters Kanika. I had almost forgotten about everything that happened yesterday. You said there was something there that reminded you of the mines, right? I see. I'll dig up what I can on the clinic. There's a lot of history there. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something haunting that place as well. You have a friend that lives there, right? Shouldn't we tell him about something bad might happen in his house? He might want to stay someplace else for now, if the last few nights were any indication. Kanika looks at you. Yeah, I can shoot Reese a warning text, but I don't know if his mum will let him leave. She's got an iron grip on the poor dude, and she's probably even more of a skeptic than I was. Right, so we need to go see which one we're going to go. We need to get Reese out of there. Reese mentioned the movie night. Right, we perfectly covered for investigation. We should investigate the clinic. I saw Reese is fine. Let's go with that. Jason turns to look at Kanika. Reese mentioned the movie night, right? It's a perfect cover for an investigation. Who knows if that would fly with Doc Kelly, though. After last night, I'm pretty sure she's just not going to let us anywhere near her house. Avery looks concerned. She's the only doctor in town. She just can't ban people from her clinic, right? I don't think so. But hopefully nobody gets sick or hurt enough to justify a visit over the next couple of days. If we're going to investigate the clinic, I think we're going to have to break in, she sighs. Whoa, that's unexpected coming from you, chuckles Avery. It's what Sir Stella would do, and she's been free for free this week when it comes to finding spooky stuff. She's also been free for free when it comes to finding her way into mortal peril, points out Oscar. This is why we have to find her as soon as possible. It shouldn't fall on me to suggest we do something dangerous. I'm terrible at selling it. It's not that I don't think we should figure out what's going on in there. We just need to be cautious about what we do next, warns Oscar. We don't want anyone getting attacked or possessed by any more ghosts, even if it is to help a friend. I don't know if we have time to play it safe. It counters Kanika. Just give me a day or two to do some research before you do anything rash, okay? Says Oscar. Let's go with that. I wonder if this could be the work of some sort of cult, Jason mutters. You're really not letting up on that cult theory, are you? Says Kanika. I don't know, I'm just throwing things out there. Know any local cults that could be responsible? Let's go with that. I don't know. Just throwing things out there, says Jason. Let's not get all satanic panic just yet. I know it's not looking unlikely at this point, but having lived in this town all my life, I feel like I would have known if there was some cult that ran the place. I've got to agree with Kanika on this, says Avery. I feel like I'd have picked up on something. Mutters Oscar. A cult doesn't necessarily have to run the town to have had an impact here. It doesn't even need to be active. From what I gather, those carvings you've been talking about are old, and whoever left them here is probably long gone. I'll see what I can find. You never know. Yeah, that's the one he was saying. Whatever we're doing next, I feel like we're missing a vital team member. We need to find Stella and fast. I agree. We need her brazen energy if we're going to do any serious sleuthing, says Kanika. See you around, Oscar, says Avery. Let us know if you find anything, adds Kanika. I will, says Oscar. So, that's Oscar's. Any other place? Any other ideas? Let's check out the diner, let's check out the mines, let's check out the church. Yeah, we could go to church, we could do the mines, and then... I don't think the diner's going to have a lot of clues, to be honest, and they're also using it for the strike, so we're not probably not going to get a lot of information out of people. Let's try the church. We should check out the church, says Jason. The church? Why? Says Kanika uneasily. I see what you're thinking, says Avery. Stella was confronted with evidence of the afterlife, so she might try getting into all that religious stuff. It's worth checking out. I think we'd be barking up the wrong tree, but I guess you're right. There's no point in not being thorough. Agrees Kanika. I wouldn't mind stocking up on some holy water while we're over there, too. Seems like a good idea to cover all the bases at this point, chuckles Avery. I don't think Baptists do the holy water thing, but I'm sure Pastor Daniel would pretend to bless some water if it meant keeping us around a little longer. That's good enough for me, says Avery. Let's not linger, though. I don't want him thinking we're possible converts. Kanika leads the way, taking you up a gradual slope towards the church. You know, says Avery, I've lived here for a few years now, and I've never actually been to the church. It's probably for a good reason. Where is that weirdo, mutters Kanika. My, 4 visitors at once, on a Thursday? This is unprecedented, says Pastor Daniels as he comes walking over. But there are only 3 of us, stammers Kanika. Oh no, were we followed by Ditchling? Zup, old people, says Zane as he appears. Oh, it's just Zane. What are you doing here, says Kanika. All the glimpses of death I've had in the past 2 days have forced me into the midst of an existential crisis, says Zane. My dudes, I want to see if faith held any answers for me. Alas, I have not yet found the solace I seek. Give it time, Zane. It sometimes takes a while for the Lord to work his way into your heart, but when he does, you won't regret letting him in. Be sure to look over those pamphlets I gave you, and of course I'm always here if you need to talk, says Pastor Daniel. Sure thing, Pastor D. Peace out, y'all. Anyway, we're looking for Stella. She's wandered off last night, and no one has seen her since. We're starting to get pretty worried. We hope maybe you or Jenny had seen her, says Kanika. Can't speak for Jenny, but I'm afraid I've seen neither hide nor hair of Stella. If you'd like to talk to my wife, she's just over there by the alpacas, says Pastor Daniel. Though, Jason, I was hoping we might be able to talk in private. He adds. What do you have to say to him that you can't say in front of us, says Kanika. Please, if you wouldn't mind, this is a personal matter, says Daniel. If it's alright, we can get the juicy details later. I'd rather folks not pry on this. You know how rumours get started, counters the pastor. It's okay, I'll be happy to talk to him, says Jason. If you're sure, says Kanika. I guess we'll leave you to it while we check in on Jenny. We'll be right over there by the fence that's conveniently in your line of sight, okay? See you in a minute, says Avery, as the 2 of them walk off. As your friends head off towards Jenny and the alpacas, leaving you alone with the nervous pastor. And I think this is a good place to end it for the day, folks. Ooh, we are getting a good process done. We're trying to track down Stella, though she's still eluding us. So we'll see what happens next time. I've been Cornish-knight. This has been Scarlet Hollow, episode 4, and I shall see you all next time. Goodbye.